This is a fatality crash. It's still blocking the off-ramp vehicle versus the pedestrian. Long Beach, 405 south on a cherry, a crash in the center divider. And in Anaheim, an earlier crash cleared on the 5 northbound at Catella. KFI in the sky helps get you there faster. I'm Dave Joseph.
505 on the local call. Aaron Kaczynski, good morning to you. Tell us a little bit more about what the judge had to say when it comes to employers requiring this vaccine mandate and whether or not the religious exemption can be factored in.
Yeah, I think this is probably destined for the Supreme Court, Jen, and so therefore would have some national implications. But the health workers, a couple of groups in New York who are challenging the state's health worker vaccine mandate, said that it's hostile to religion because there should be, they argue, some kind of an exemption and an accommodation made for people with sincerely held religious beliefs, in this case, the Catholics, who said they object to taking a vaccine that's derived from fetal cells that were harvested through abortion. And the Pope is different, of course, but these people say it's objectionable. And it was an interesting argument because the state said, of course, the mandate is not hostile to religion. The Constitution doesn't require the kind of carve out for speaking. And the judges seem equally skeptical of the health worker argument. One judge said it may well be if you're going to be a martyr, you just can't do certain things because of your religious beliefs. And he made an example. If an Orthodox Jew wanted to be a lifeguard at the beach, they couldn't do it because they couldn't work on site. So that there may be certain things that you can't do if you are going to stick to religious beliefs. And this, being a forward-facing doctor or a nurse in this case at this time, maybe one of those examples.
And I think what's so interesting about this case, and you saying that it would go to the Supreme Court more than likely, is because you have basically 49 other states looking at this to see what the outcome of this is, because this argument is not, it's not specifically like it, but it's not unlike other arguments that are being made by healthcare workers in states across the country where these vaccine mandates have been put into place.
And that's right. And I think there are a couple of interesting points in the argument. One of the judges on the three-judge appellate court panel brought up the Cadillac vaccine, the MMR vaccine that everybody gets. And when that was developed in the 70s and 80s, that was also derived similarly from, fetal cells harvested through abortions. And the judge said, there wasn't an outcry or religious objections brought up then. And another laugh in the courtroom when he rejected said, that was a different time. This has all become politicized.
Yeah, and a lot of people think that is exactly the case. All right, well, we'll see what happens next then, Aaron. Thank you so much for the update on this.
Maybe good.
Yeah, that's ABC's Eric Thurston. And if you look at this, a lot of people, it was interesting. A friend of mine who is claiming religious exemption from this, and in many ways, I know her to be very religious, and she's explained to me her reasoning why, and okay. But she was upset because she said she knows other people that she works with that are claiming religious exemptions who have, now won't specify what their church is, but who have 0 time in the church. But they found, hey, if I say religious exemption then, there'll be a little pushback or I'll get a delay or whatever it is. So there are people who are upset that they have valid or legitimate religious reasons why they don't want to get the vaccine, and others who are just using that argument to their benefit. So then do we split hairs down the road based on what a Supreme Court decision decides? Will you have to prove how devout you are in whatever your religious beliefs are? I don't know. All right, some more stories coming out of actually New York. Firefighters in New York City will protest against the city's COVID-19 vaccine mandate. Andrew Ansbro with FDNY, with the Firefighters Association there, says the mandate's going to make staffing shortages in the city even worse.
You're going to see dozens and dozens of firehouses closed. You're going to see response times climb. It is inevitable. Lives are going to be lost. That is irrefutable.
The protest this morning will be outside the home of the mayor of New York, Bill de Blasio. Democratic Senator Joe Manchin says while he may change his stance against paid family leave, he's still strongly opposed to the Democrats' new proposal to pay for the Build Back Better agenda. He says taxing billionaires on assets like their stock market gains is divisive.
I don't like the conversation that we're targeting different people.
The package has already seen cuts cuts, that is, to the climate child tax credit extension and free community college goals. The FDA has issued stronger safety warnings for breast implants.
The new warnings mainly apply to implant manufacturers. They have to add a box warning message, which is the most serious type, to promotional and scientific material. Patients must also be given information about potential risks and complications from implants before getting them. Breast implants are the most common cosmetic surgical procedure in the U.S. About 400,000 people get them every year. Deborah Mark, KFI News.
Well, police in Claremont are investigating a murder-suicide involving a baby. Officers did a welfare check at a woman's apartment Tuesday night because she and her 18-month-old child hadn't been seen or heard from for a few days. Officers found both bodies inside the apartment. They say the woman used a knife to kill the child and then herself. Excuse me. The California Supreme Court has refused to consider Brad Pitt's appeal of a lower court ruling that disqualified the judge in his custody battle with Angelina Jolie. An appeals court decision in June said the judge hearing the case should be disqualified because he didn't disclose his business relationships with Pitt's attorneys. The two actors are fighting over custody of their 6 kids. An American Airlines flight to Orange County from New York had to be diverted to Denver when a passenger assaulted a flight attendant. The flight continued to Santa Ana last night after authorities took the passenger off the plane. Another passenger on board, Mackenzie Rose, says the flight attendant was punched and got her nose broken by a man who wouldn't wear a mask.
In terms of men hitting women, it's absolutely absurd and ridiculous. Fists and violence is never the way.
American Airlines says it will press charges. I know there was a flight attendant on one of our recent flights, and it was a Southwest flight. And the guy in front of me, they're all getting on the plane, and the guy in front of me was chatting with her. And she asked somebody as they were walking down the aisle, would you put your mask on? And the person, kind of almost as if they forgot. Oh, yeah. And put it on right away. And the guy sitting in front of me says to her, oh, have you had any problems with that? And she goes, well, I'm one of the lucky ones. I haven't been assaulted. And I just thought, nobody gets paid enough to say, hey, it's been good so far, I haven't been assaulted. It's just ridiculous that we are in this time. Officials in Santa Fe, New Mexico say they haven't ruled out filing charges for the shooting that killed cinematographer Helena Hutchins.
If the sheriff's office determines during our investigation a crime has occurred and probable cause exists, an arrest will be made and charges will be filed.
Sheriff Don Mendoza says investigators have collected about 600 pieces of evidence from the movie set where the shooting happened, including the gun that was fired by actor Alec Baldwin. They also have a projectile from the shooting that was in the director Joel Souza's shoulder. Employees at Starbucks are getting a pay raise. Hourly employees will make at least $15 an hour starting next summer. People who have worked for the company for 2 or more years are eligible for a 5% raise, and employees of 5 or more years could get a 10% raise. The company has said the bump in pay is also an effort to attract new employees. All right, way TMI here about me. But probably to this day, if I wasn't in radio, my favorite job was working at Starbucks. I loved it. I loved everything about it. I loved the customers. I loved making the drinks. I loved chatting with people. You get good gossip. People become your random friends. I think it's kind of because you're like their pusher. They're coming in, it's like, oh, please give me the caffeine. And they're like, yeah, I got your caffeine. Tell me about, how that thing went with your wife yesterday. It's really fun. Anyway, I love working with them. Dogs are being trained in Germany to help protect wildlife.
German railway group Deutsche Bahn saying it is now training dogs to find protected wildlife at planned major building sites. So far, it was humans who were in charge of finding animals that needed to be moved to safer places during construction.
ABC's Inez de la Tutera says the sniffer dogs are set to start their new jobs next year. 6 dog breeds are being taught to sniff out protected animals like snakes, toads, bats, and lizards. The Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus is making a comeback. The 3-ring circus says it's working on plans for a new show that will not feature any animals. The circus shut down in 2017 following several legal battles over animals being forced to perform The updated show is expected to debut in 2023. Immediately I thought, is this going to be something like Cirque du Soleil? I mean, I know Cirque du Soleil even used horses, but I wonder if that's the way they're going to go. We'll see. All right, when we come back, we're going to talk with ABC's Brad Garrett. Brad will talk a little bit about some of the things that I've wanted to get into about the Alec Baldwin shooting. Is why are we so fascinated by this? Why? What is it about this specific case? And also, we don't know the ins and outs of what goes on these movie sets. What type of training is expected? What type of precautions are taken to prevent these types of things from happening? And what went wrong along the way? Brad can explain all of that for us in just a few minutes. Also coming up, it's your chance to win $1,000. Right now, though, let's take a look at your drive on the 405.
Southbound before Cherry Avenue in Long Beach, January's got a crash blocking the 3 right lanes. It is a fatality crash. The traffic is stopped from Atlantic Avenue. Calabasas, big trouble on the 101 northbound after Parkway, Calabasas. You got a crash blocking the 4 left lanes. You're jammed up from Valley Circle. And in Hollywood, on the 101 southbound at Vine Street, crash blocks that off-ramp. That's a vehicle versus a pedestrian. Ontario, Caltrans work on the 60 westbound from Haven and Grove. The car feeding 2 left lanes shut down. Heading to Cajon Pass, the 15 southbound after the 138. They go for a hit-run crash off to the shoulder. KFI in the sky helps get you there faster. I'm Dave Joseph.
As usual, this year for Halloween, I'm going to dress up as a devil. A handsome devil. And now, the top 5 reasons to visit Morongo. Number 5.
Halloween freebies. Reward members get a light-up pumpkin necklace on Halloween.
Number 4.
Trick, treat, win. Load up on candy and win up to $300 in free swap play when you earn 100 points on your rewards cards to 31st.
3.
Baseball's biggest games on big screen. The whole world will be watching, and so will you at Morongo.
And the number 2.
Entertainment is back. Gypsy King, November 5th. Robin 6th, November 13th.
And the number 1 reason.
Rob Lowe, Keith Sweat, and Quinn Black all this year. Go to MorongoCasinoResort.com to check out the full lineup.
Morongo Casino Resort and Spa. Morongo. Good time.
This report is sponsored by Indeed.com. Is finding the right candidate slowing you down? Cut straight to your hire with Indeed. Their hiring platform makes it easy to attract, train, and interview candidates all in the same place. To find your next great hire, visit Indeed.com/credit.
This is former Notre Dame quarterback Brady Quinn. Here's what's trending from the iHeart Sports Network.
Presented by DuckDuckGo.
Dodgers President Andrew Friedman did not comment on whether Trevor Bauer will pitch again. Friedman said he's leaving it up to the league for now. The Lakers lost to the Thunder after giving up a 26-point lead. Russell Westbrook dropped a triple-double, but also accounted for 10 turnovers. And the Astros beat the Braves, evening the World Series at 1 game apiece. The series gets to Atlanta for Game 3 tomorrow. I'm Missy Jordan.
What is it that makes you uniquely you? Well, DuckDuckGo would compensate by any of their business. And frankly, it shouldn't be the business of any tech company. Protect your privacy online for free with DuckDuckGo.
Before I started Rooter Hero Plumbing, I was an angry young man. Hello, I'm John McClain. I was angry because my dad died when I was 17 and he left me alone. I was angry because I couldn't go to college with my friends and because I had to drop out of high school. It's not a pleasant story. But as I grew older, I also grew up. I realized that my dad didn't leave me alone. He left me with values and principles that continue to shape my life. Dad said, be on time. He didn't like it when people were late. He taught me to be polite. It was something I lost, but we captured along the way. And he taught me to keep my promises, because broken promises lead to broken relationships. We teach and keep these values at Rooter Hero Plumbing. I think we have a pretty good company. I know we have great people. And if one of our heroes fails to live up to these values, please call me. My private number is on the back of every Rooter Hero business card. You can also reach us at rooterhero.com. Thank you.
Is your business growing? Baylon commercial fire and security systems are designed to change as your needs change. So you're right for now and ready for next. Go to Baylon.com to get protected today. ACO 28CCL 88013.
Oh man, just wait till you get that September electric bill, Gary. It was hot and sunny all month. Kids are doing their schoolwork on the computers. You're using more appliances because you cook so much.
I do cook much. Bottom line is, everybody uses more energy, right? But listen, since I switched to SolarMax technology, I can keep cool, I can run the appliances, leave all the computers on, the cell phones charged, everything. Because with SolarMax, my electricity is practically free.
SolarMax is local. They're right here in Southern California. They have the best products and service going.
Took the words right out of my mouth. SolarMax does everything themselves right here in Southern California. Exceptional quality control and no middleman. I save even more with no upfront cost. Plus, they've got the newest and most innovative Tesla products, like the Tesla 420 panels and power wall.
Right now, pay $0 down for that Tesla package and $79.96 per month with a 1.99% APR.
Dial pound 250 from your cell and say SolarMax. That's pound 250, keyword SolarMax, by October 31st for this great offer. Monthly payment available on pre-credit CFW line for Super Play.
Every new Toyota comes with peace of mind, standard. That's because you get Toyota Care no-cost maintenance when you buy or lease any new Toyota car, truck, or SUV. Toyota Care covers all normal factory scheduled services for 2 years or 25,000 miles, whichever comes first, and even includes 24-hour roadside assistance and lockout protection. See your Toyota dealer for details and exclusions. Valid only in the continental U.S. and Alaska.
Hi, you must be Tina.
Yeah, that's me.
I recognized you right away. Wow, you look just like your picture.
And you are...
I'm Carlos. You didn't recognize me?
Kinda.
Kinda doesn't cut it. That's why Toyota certified technicians only use genuine Toyota parts. So they fit your Toyota perfectly. Toyota Service Centers. Keep your Toyota a Toyota. We make it easy. Toyota. Let's go places.
Supply chain chaos. Ben & Jerry's is going to make less flavors. There's going to be shortage of fish sticks. Since I was a little kid, I hated the phrase fish sticks.
I don't even know what it is.
John and Ken, I don't want to know what it is.
We gave it too.
Well, think of it as like a chicken tender, only it's a fish.
Kind of.
I don't like that either.
On KFI.
KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. I actually have to agree with John there. The fish stick. I remember my parents trying to serve me that as a kid, and even as a young kid being like, what is this? The fish stick. I don't, there's nothing, this does not remind me of a fish. Maybe that's why to this day I don't like seafood. Maybe it's because they tried to force the fish stick down me, and my adverse reaction to the fish stick forever has lasted. Mom and Dad, this is on you. John, I feel ya. KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Some of the stories we're watching in the KFI 24-hour newsroom. Former Long Beach school safety officer has been charged with murder of an 18-year-old woman. LA County DA George Gascon says this case shows the importance of holding public officials accountable. Investigators say the safety officer came up on a fight between 18-year-old Mona Rodriguez and a 15-year-old girl while he was patrolling last month. They say when Rodriguez and two others tried to get away in a car, the officer started shooting and hit Rodriguez. She died a few days later. And a study of a cheap antidepressant has found it reduces the need for high-risk adults to go to the hospital if they get COVID-19. The pill, which is used to treat depression and obsessive-compulsive disorder, has been tested in 1,500 people in Brazil. Researchers have given their test results to the U.S. National Institutes of Health, as well as the World Health Organization, hope that it will be authorized for use. Right now, it's your chance to win $1,000.
KFI has your chance to win $1,000.
Text the nationwide keyword
Work. W-O-R-K.
to 200-200.
You'll get a confirmation text and info.
Standard data and message rates apply in this nationwide contest.
That's work to 200-200.
It is no work. If you are the winner, all you have to do is pick up the phone. That's easy enough, right? If you don't pick up the phone, though, they move on to somebody who will. So please pick up the phone. Your next chance to win will comes at 6:20. Happens 14 times a day. Starts with me. Lasts all the way until 7:20 with Conway. Right now, let's say hello to ABC's Brad Garrett. Brad, we, for whatever reason, just all seem so fascinated with the shooting of the cinematographer by Alec Baldwin in Santa Fe. And, I mean, of course, the killing in and of itself is tragic and horrible, and, of course, it's going to make headlines. The fact that Alec Baldwin was behind the gun, of course, that's going to make headlines. But I feel like there's more to this story. And I feel like the fact that so many of us go to these shoot-'em-up movies, and maybe we don't even think why we're there. Like, what is our attraction to them, and what goes on to make these movies? All of a sudden, we're thinking about things we never thought about before.
And I think you've hit the point that action-driven movies, a lot of firepower, you know, they are adrenaline pumping for the audience. It's stimulating, obviously, and I think all of that sort of puts you, the viewer, kind of in a movie scene, whether it's a Western or a James Bond 007 movie. And you feel part of it, but obviously you're safe. You're not going to get shot, right? You're at home or in a movie theater. So it draws us in. So there's that component to it. And, you know, obviously Alec Baldwin's going to be a draw. And I think the other thing is people are really scratching their head because, let's face it, the number of firearms that are used in a given week on a movie set or a TV show is astronomical. And the amount of rounds that are pretend fired, I mean, obviously, it's a gajillion a week. And it sort of goes to, by and large, it appears that gun safety on these sets has been pretty much okay. Obviously, there were some major safety issues going on regarding this set.
And I think when you go back in your comment about the gajillion of guns that are used on sets every single day, I don't think we even think about that and how kind of common, I guess, it is in the industry to have a gun, even in a Lifetime movie. I mean, even the craziest things that you're not even thinking about, that you're, you know, not looking for something, shoot 'em up or whatever, they're in there.
They're in there. And of course, the key, Jennifer, is that one person or one group of people, the armorers, control all the weapons. They are the ones that would lock them up in a vault. They would be the ones that take them out of the vault and then prepare them for a shoot that day. You know, it's fairly common to use real weapons that potentially could be operable to make it look more real. And at the most, you know, when Daniel Craig's cranking off a bunch of rounds from some sort of automatic weapon, he may well be shooting blank just because it looks real. In other words, it looks like, you know, there's smoke, fire, etc. And there is, to a certain extent, with the blank round, but there's no, you know, per se, there's no projectile because there's no gunpowder in the blank round. So there is all that to make it look real and maintain that this is live. You know, we're really doing the real thing here, and obviously we're not. Would they ever have live rounds? Well, I wouldn't think on a movie set. Now, would they take it after to a controlled range or a controlled combat course to teach them what it feels like to have them pull the trigger with a live round in it? Because you want them to be comfortable and look authentic with the weapon that they have. So my guess is some of that goes on. Did it on this set? I have no idea. But live rounds, I mean, there's such a breakdown of safety here. It's like, how could this even happen? But obviously it did.
Okay, I'm going to the portion where it makes absolute sense that an actor would be trained with live rounds so that they could, like you said, portray, you want that authenticity in there. You want them to look like when they pull the trigger that they feel that recoil or that they feel the impact of that, whatever the case is. But on the set, I think breaking down what went down that day, if Alec Baldwin was just practicing what the placement should be, or what the, you know, what his arm should be, what position he should be in, or whatever, when he's looking down the barrel of this camera, why was he handed a live gun when we learned from the sheriff yesterday there were two inoperable guns on the cart that was sitting right there next to him?
Well, let's look at two things. One is many armorers would question why the first director was handling the gun. It should have been the armorer, perhaps. And that many of these armorers will actually check a gun in front of the actor one last time to make sure it's exactly what it's supposed to be. That's one thing that appears to not have occurred. The other is live rounds shouldn't be an issue. The worst thing, Jennifer, that should have or could have happened was that he had a blank, and that the cinematographer was standing close, and she didn't have any plexiglass in front of her to maybe catch the wadding that would come out with a blank round. Could she have gotten hurt? The answer is perhaps, but she wouldn't have been killed, probably. But that shouldn't even occur. When he said full gun, I interpret that as an empty gun. Because there is a thing called dry firing, where you pull a gun out and you fire it. We do it on ranges all the time in law enforcement, obviously controlled setting, no one's in front of us, to practice drawing, to practice what the trigger pull feels like. So was that what Alec was doing? I don't know. But that's probably what he thought he was doing. So the question is the breakdown of what did the armorer do, what did the first director do, and did anybody mess with those guns in between the two of them? And that's the real issue here. So that's going to get into, was there any criminal intent? Was there gross negligence here on somebody's part? That remains to be seen.
Well, thanks for breaking that down. I could spend an hour with you because I have so many more questions, and I know both of us are out of time. We'll do it again.